Did you see this video? You probably did. Horror can be an amazing genre for exploring emotions through dark themes and plot lines and just plain terrifying visuals. There's a reason why horror is one of the most popular genres of any form of media. But my god, there's so much media and I wish it wasn't so easy to just make stuff. It doesn't even feel real when I say analog horror. It feels like a code word, like a sleeper agent's activation phase. The reason I mention this video is not because it's a good analog horror parody, not at all. I think it's actually too dependent on funny sound effects and doesn't actually make fun of the weak points of the genre, but whatever, who gives a shit, it's not a serious video anyways. If you try to look it up online, you get a lot of videos that just make fun of the editing style of analog horror series and shows how it's so easy to just replicate what used to be a really interesting style into just slop. In its purest form, the style just feels like slop. Just add a VHS filter, a little bit of bulge, some of those good Venetian blinds at 50%. How about we add in some crazy coloring too? Ooh, scary, isn't it? Boo! I'm scaring you. Boo! 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 It's that easy. Of course, that doesn't mean all analog horror sucks, right? I mean, there's still some series that are good, right? Emphasis on some. My YouTube recommended page sucks and has been for a while, with really long only plays compilations and YouTube drama that I don't care about. However, I get videos from really small channels sometimes, which have a lot of views, but it's evident that the channel doesn't normally get that many views, you know what I mean? So I check them out and oh, what's this? Tom and Jerry analog horror? Oh my goodness, I need this now! Now! I have 3 videos on Tom and Jerry on my channel. The only thing is the first one isn't available to watch because it's been blocked worldwide. Who really cares though? Warner Brothers noticed, so we get those dubs, am I right boys? Anyways, as the resident Tom and Jerry fanboy, I clicked on the video and lo and behold, huh? What is this? What is this? This series, this video was the entire reason I made this video. This video doesn't even cover the basics of the analog horror editing style. There's double layered text for some reason. The VHS filter just doesn't appear for visuals sometimes. And god damn it, what's the story? What's the point? I know analog horror stories tend to be vague, but the best thing I can give it is Tom is a shapeshifter. He kills people and he's evil. Tom la evil? It also doesn't do anything with its source material, it just plays clips, does the silly glitch out, and there's also this one scene where the video just explains the concept of Tom and Jerry. I accidentally took a picture of their house. Here's the house, it's a perfect picture with good composition and no blur by the way. That is, if we also suspend our belief and just pretend like this isn't just a frame of an episode of the show. Also, it just randomly has flashes of Tom looking creepy and evil in random points of the clip, which is kind of a standard in analog horror now, but the most egregious thing to me was Tom with a bloody knife. Just look at this. Please, just tell me I'm not insane. The whole experience, the whole thing was really bad and I have no clue how this got like 500,000 views. For this? Really? Look, maybe I'm being too rude. Maybe I just can't see the vision.
What the fuck is this?
But why is no one pointing anything out in the comments? What's going on? Am I being too mean to this guy? This isn't a good series, but all I've done is just complain. No actual criticism. But yet again, this video is just a glorified rant. Something I've always wanted to say about a category of film that's disappointed me for a while now, and what do I want? Long story short, the Tom and Jerry analog horror feels like it was made by someone who wanted to make an analog horror series, found Tom and Jerry as its starting point, but didn't have any direction. So they just stuck to a bunch of cliche tropes and called it a day. I'm probably making fun of a child. Also, I know this isn't really a good thing to say, but I believe that genres aren't solid and they change over time in the same way that cultures and languages change over time. But with analog horror, we've got to just put some boundaries down, right? I think the Angel Hair series is good. Good concept, everything. I do not hate Angel Hair, but the amount of text that pops up between scenes just takes me out of it. I know you want to add the context and stuff, but I really feel like you could have just dropped the extras into the description of the videos and it would have helped add to the feel of the actual tapes. And the thumbnails of the videos infuriate me just a little because it feels like these thumbnails like Turkey Tom-esque drama videos. Whoa guys, just what the heck did Angel Dust do? Did I seriously like call her Angel Dust? Her name is Angel Hair. Oh my god. The reason I mention Angel Hair is because as much as I like the concept and story, which I think is super unique and executed well, I don't know if I could call it analog horror, because analog horror has always been presented as tapes that were either haunted or pretty creepy, or network television shows that were haunted or pretty creepy. But here the tapes are creepy, but there's so much tacked onto the tapes, like the music and the text, which I believe just represents the main character's thoughts at that moment, that it takes me out. It makes me feel like I'm watching a YouTuber talking about an analog horror series and using creative editing instead of actually watching said analog horror series. Five Nights at Freddy's. Do I need to explain what it is? No, and I'm not gonna do it. But I want you to know something about it, and that it exists, and the presentation of the game isn't gory, isn't violent, and it leaves a lot to the imagination. This is an important point, remember it. Five Nights at Freddy's, while being a horror franchise, doesn't really have a spooky, creepy ambiance that follows an analog horror style, and most people know that the appeal of the series is in its incredibly convoluted story. So when the FNAF movie came out, a lot of people didn't like it. One of the main criticisms was that the movie itself wasn't scary, and this criticism didn't just come from critics who didn't really follow the games in the first place, but also from just fans of the series itself. They said it wasn't as scary as it should be. Now, I have a little conspiracy theory. What's on my head? See, FNAF was a big part of the analog horror trend online, even spawning an original series called The Walton Files, which to me is a very good example of good analog horror that fits under that label. A tape that was corrupted by a spirit, a haunted recording where everything seems normal enough before it starts breaking slowly but surely, and it doesn't take me out of it somehow, even though it's obviously multiple tapes stitched together. It's just good, okay? I don't know how I can explain it, but I don't want to talk about the Walton Files. I want to talk about two other people, Squimpus McGrimpus and Battington. Now this is all from memory, but they made some really good and really interesting short videos in the style of analog horror using FNAF as a starting point, and I think these are pretty good too. They are paced well and don't just seem like they're just doing things for the sake of doing things. And at this point in time, analog horror wasn't as common as it was, although they did plant the seeds for people who were inspired. And that's my problem. You see it right there? That's the problem. No hate to the creative work over there, and if the people behind them did something bad, I genuinely have no clue because I don't follow them. I don't really care. But these videos were huge, popular. I know what I'm saying is gonna sound stupid, but I fear that these videos changed how FNAF was viewed as a franchise because of these fan-made videos, where people genuinely believed that the original series was as scary as this. Its complicated story left a lot for people to interpret, and the people who did interpret it turned it into really good visual art, which fans of said art used to solidify their memories of Five Nights at Freddy's, which in turn made people pissed off that the movie wasn't as scary as the tapes, even though the movie was the first actual visual representation of the plot that was made by the creator, not a fan. That was a lot of yapping. Why did I say that again? All of this was just to say analog horror is very influential. You can see that. It warps people's perceptions of other media, and very good ones can change people's opinions of the base franchise, and maybe analog horror is good? Is my opinion changing? The Mandela Catalog needs no introduction. If you're watching this video, chances are that you've seen it. 14 million views, yada yada. It's the original seed that grew into the forest you see today. It was special because it didn't really have a franchise that it used as a stepping off point, but it created a storyline of its own, original world building, and had a pretty unique idea. The thing is, after 2 years of existence, watching it now feels like I'm watching a parody of the actual Mandela Catalog. It's so easy to say bad things about it because this was the pioneer, the first thing to actually take risks and succeed. But now, with the lens of time and the past, this is every single trope that exists now in analog horror in one video. Even the silly Germa smile, the black and white coloring, the TTS, which is also spooky. It's so funny to realize that this isn't a video copying someone else. This is the video that made everyone want to copy. Oh my god, there's so many copies! Oh, and something you might not have realized, these copies suck. I understand being inspired. Like watching something and being so impressed with it, you're like, wow, this is really cool, I'm inspired. I want to make something similar like this because I want to also experience my emotions like this. The thing is, and the thing that makes me really sad is, every other analog horror media that existed around this period of time just capitalized on Mandela, and anytime you watch them, it just feels like the same tropes, just shuffled around and with different funny stretched out faces, just And I know what you're probably thinking of, in a video talking about how analog horror is bad. I forgot Spaz Kid from Oni Place. Listen, I'm not gonna get into the big drama surrounding Urban Spook. There's multiple other videos talking about it. But long story short, he was respected, and then people realized that his stories weren't actually good. They were just painful shock value with a little bit of sexual deviancy in it. I feel kind of bad because Urban Spook made his own music for the series. The art was original. It was obvious the guy was talented, but he knew that to make his cake shine, he added hot stinky dookie on top of it.
Why is poo poo brown?
The shock value of, oh look, the murderer raped a kid. Isn't that so scary, guys? Aren't you creeped out by my analog horror? Whoa, you should be so scared. Oh my freaking goodness. Aren't you scared? Aren't you scared? Aren't you scared of how creepy my face looks? Aren't you scared of the TV? The TV looks static. Well, look, I'm one of you guys. I make horror too. I make horror with no effort at all. As you can see, the tone of the video is more serious now because I've decided to shift into the corner of my room instead of the middle. While making this video, I slowly realized that I just stopped talking about analog horror and I was just complaining like a little baby. Every single point that I wanted to make could have just easily been summarized as no one's original anymore, they always stick to the same tropes and it makes the genre boring. And anytime someone tries to make something new, it doesn't really fit the genre anymore, even though it's still labeled as analog horror. There, my entire script and minutes of yapping could fit in just that, so why did I make the video in the first place? I don't know. Maybe I just like yapping. It's a bit ironic that I also spent more time actually praising stuff than calling out the negatives that I was annoyed with. And just like the Tom and Jerry analog horror, this video didn't have any direction either. Huh. Funny. This thing is so annoying. Now the rest of the video is unscripted. If you haven't guessed, change the pace, change the scene. It's all we're trying to get comfy looking, okay? We're showing everything real, not trying to hide anything. I'm hiding like a bunch of clothes behind the camera, but you won't notice. But something I didn't mention about the Tom and Jerry analog horror was maybe I was being too mean. This was probably just a kid who really liked Tom and Jerry, that really wanted to just show something about it, and using the power of analog horror that they were probably inspired by, they decided to make something interesting. That's not a bad thing at all, and I think that's a good thing, but why did I hate it? Why could I just not give it a chance? Maybe because it had so many of those tropes that I couldn't give it another chance, but I just saw it and I was like, I've had enough, okay? I've seen enough of this. This is too much for me. And I was just triggered into making an entire video about why I hate analog horror and just all of this. Why did I react like this? If you don't believe me, the script for this video is written down, but I didn't double check anything. I just wrote the first things that came into my mind, and the video took 2 days to write. 2 days. I normally never take 2 days. It takes me so much more longer to write a video because I want to be perfect. I want to make it good. I want to make it awesome. But then today it was just like, yup, I just made the whole thing, man. I just pulled it out my closet. There's a subject in college that I have to study called business of culture, and so we have to talk about how people market art, and through the digital age, through the olden ages, how did people, interact with artwork? How did they market it so that the audiences could see? So to understand that, we had a little bit of a session where we appreciated art. There was a big controversy about Jackson Pollock because his paintings are just splats everywhere. I personally like Jackson Pollock because it looks cool, it's abstract, and I really like abstract stuff, and everyone was either split between thinking it's really good and just it showed a bunch of emotion, but on the other side that just said, no, this sucks because he just spread paint everywhere, I could do that. And it was a very interesting split because there were so many different ways of interpreting that stuff. Then we went into Picasso. I was one of the only guys in the classroom who liked Picasso. I saw it and I was like, I actually like this, because Picasso used to look at different angles of the person's face that he used to paint, and then using those angles he used to paint it in a two-dimensional format. So it's literally just studying someone's face in the most unique way possible. That's my opinion. Then everyone else in the classroom was like, it looks stupid, it doesn't look appealing, and he's just a dumb guy. Apparently Picasso was a bad person. I'm unaware. All I know is that he made some funny looking faces and I like it. Anyways, all of this is just me trying to say, I had an incredibly visceral reaction to a piece of art that disappointed me, that just didn't let me feel like I could appreciate art anymore, that I couldn't appreciate that whole genre. But why? Maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I have a big boomer take about art. Maybe I'm starting to become old. I'm 18 years old, alright? I got unk status, alright? Maybe this is my fault. Maybe this is me realizing that I am not able to appreciate art the way others can. Maybe I'm starting to realize that maybe I'm the person trying to gatekeep my own opinion through a YouTube video? Really? One thing I wanted to talk about, right? Something that reminded me of the Tom and Jerry analog horror video was a Wii kill screen video. The video was labeled most viewed video on the channel, and it's about how the Wii died while playing Wii Play. At first it actually kind of looks pretty realistic. It's actual screen recordings of the Wii, and then during playing the bubble game on Wii Play, the screen goes resolution suddenly goes away, and I'm still thinking in my head, alright, I can see it's going somewhere, and then it just flips to your Wii is corrupted with a virus. It has spread to the menu, and it's so obviously MS Paint with the line stroke, and it goes on. It's literally just this, and at the end it says, thank you for watching my video, thank you for watching what my Wii did. Yeah, that happened. The video is labeled my most viewed video. It is genuinely bad, and I'm so disappointed seeing that, because I clicked on the video and I thought, oh, this is gonna be really interesting, maybe this is gonna be someone's take on creepy Wii screen. But then it was this. It was a disappointment. I'm not gonna share the actual title of the video. I'm not gonna share like who made it and all that, because it's literally a little kid made that. If you go on the channel, it's like this 12-year-old baby who's just making videos for the sake of making videos. They're making art because they can. They're making art because it's fun, because they like doing it. And that's not a bad thing. This part of the video is just me telling myself, yeah, you can think art is bad. You can think it fundamentally sucks because it isn't your taste. You can think it fundamentally sucks because it's bad, plain and simple. I'm making the art because it's fun. I'm copying styles from other video essays, like let's say Jacob Geller, Big Joel, right? Like these two are people who have also inspired me, even though I don't think I'll be able to go as deep as them in the future. I'm very inspired by these guys, and you know, watching them also inspired my writing style in a little bit. It inspired my visual style. Like, why am I sitting in the corner of my room? Doesn't make a difference, but it adds a little bit to that mood, you see? I wanted to make this video to express an emotion, right? My emotion was, I'm tired of analog horror being really samey. I'm tired of this genre somehow being like an actual slop horror genre. Because if you look it up, you can get videos that all look the same. So many parodies as well exist of analog horror because it's so easy to just put PNG, scary version of PNG, text, oh my goodness, he's coming, help me. Like, it's so easy to do that. It is so easy and so disappointing. I tried making one of those for my channel and then I deleted it because I realized it sucked. But the thing is, what's important is I wanted to express an emotion. Now, regardless of what you think of the people behind the scenes, regardless of what you think of the artwork, someone wanted to express an emotion, right? Someone wanted to express the emotion of creepiness, mystery, scariness through the emotion of Tom and Jerry where Tom is evil. Someone wanted to express the emotion of, oh no, my Wii is going to die through that fake crash screen. Someone wanted to express the emotion of childhood memories and childhood trauma being secretly controlled by an angel through a television screen, and I only disagreed with it because I didn't like the amount of text in it. What was wrong with me? Art is made with the intention of provoking something, right? Maybe that art actually did do what it's supposed to do because it provoked me into wanting to speak about it so much, into wanting me to talk about the copies and all the people who have disappointed me through analog horror, through something that I felt like could be so good. But then my opinions on it just rapidly changed. All I want to say is, this video was an introspection, like a 3-day introspection. I wrote the script in 2 days. After reading it, I realized, why am I saying all of this? This doesn't matter. And then I realized, well, I have it already. I could just make it a video, right? Art is normally made with expressing an emotion, or at least to get the audience to feel some emotion. With horror, mostly that emotion is, I want the audience to feel scared, to feel uncomfortable, to make them experience plot lines that are normally kind of dark, kind of creepy, kind of disgusting sometimes. And Urban Spook mostly just went for disgusting, but yeah, you know what? I don't want to talk about them. And the thing is, even the ones that suck, even the analog horror that copies stuff, right? Even the analog horror that's just samey, even the analog horror that's all tropes, even the stuff that I feel shouldn't be called analog horror, the stuff that I think is just a horror film that's just transcended past what it is, even the stuff that I feel is wrongfully labeled analog horror, the stuff that I feel shouldn't be called analog horror, the stuff that I feel shouldn't even be considered horror in the first place, they want to make you feel an emotion. And that's something I can't take away from them. I can't take away the fact that they want to make you feel something. They put in the effort to make something and try something out. Even if the thing they tried out was the same, even if it's already been tried before, they've tried it. They've put something forward. And that's more that they can say about it compared to me, because I'm the guy complaining about the fact that they put it up on YouTube in the first place.